I'm Cecilia Jaroslavsky. I was a Planner 3 with the San Francisco Planning Department a little while ago.
And why are you here this morning?
This morning I'm here to fight for solidarity and the rights of all workers everywhere, but specifically I guess now here just locally in San Francisco.
And what is happening in the city of San Francisco with senior workers?
Well, apparently what's happened to me, and I've discovered appears to be happening systematically throughout the city, is they're targeting employees over the age of 40 and replacing them with younger employees, people that are cheaper, lesser classifications, and it seems like they're getting away with it, and so I'm here to help fight that. So that's what's going on in San Francisco, unfortunately.
Isn't that illegal?
Yes, I think it's illegal. Absolutely, it's illegal, but we need to get people to speak out. We need to get people to go public and talk about what has happened specifically to them. I can only talk about what's happened to myself and several other coworkers. I've been fortunately reinstated. That's not the case with many of the people that I know this has happened to. So people need to come out and speak about what Human Resources in San Francisco is doing, how they're violating civil service rules, and specifically in my case, the planning department.
And this intimidation, I mean, how is management getting away with what appears to be blatant discrimination against senior employees?
I have no idea how they're getting away with it. I was fortunate enough that my union fought for me and they took me to arbitration. I don't think that that was the case for several other employees. So we need to look at why everybody isn't being defended and protected by the unions.
Well, this is, you think that this is going on elsewhere and around the country where employers are using all kinds of maneuvers to get rid of their senior employees so they can bring in people at less wages and with less seniority to basically exploit them greater?
Well, I don't know any specifics. I do know of a couple of employees that are also being targeted and they're being replaced by younger people. And this is happening in the private sector as well. So it's not just the public sector. It's both the private and the public, and people need to get together. Workers need to unite and fight these violations.
And you're going to have a speak out. Why don't you talk about that?
I am. There will be a Civil Service Commission hearing this Monday, the 17th. It starts at 2 p.m. My item will probably be a little bit later, but it would be wonderful, and this is the opportunity for workers to come out and talk about their experiences and how people have violated their civil service rules and how they are being targeted because they happen to be over 40. So this is the opportunity for everybody to speak out and talk about their specific situation.
And when is that?
It's 2 p.m. this Monday, City Hall, room 400 at the Civil Service Commission hearing.
Y'all get up early this morning to be here? Yeah! So I heard some folks got up at 3:30 this morning to drive down from Humboldt. How's that for commitment? All right, so the rest of us who got at 4:30, 5:30, quit your whining, all right? So, who's the 99%? And tired. Who's here? Oops. Hello, Mike. Okay. Who here is sick and tired of the high rates of unemployment in this country? Raise your hand if you are unemployed or underemployed. Raise your hand. Let's see them. Raise your hand if you have to struggle to make the rent and the bills every month. Raise your hand. Healthcare debt, right? Okay? Raise your hand if you want to see yourself get an education, the kids in your community get an education.
Vice President of ILWU Local.
What's going on in Longview?
We're right in the middle of a major labor battle with a multinational corporation called ILWU. It's been going on for months now. Our local has done quite a few actions up there. Right now, we have 235 charges in our local. Our local is made up of 213 members, so that kind of speaks for itself.
Now you're here today. Why did you come down to San Francisco?
We came down to San Francisco. We had an open invitation from Local 10. to come down and give them some communications about what's going on the front line, because this battle that we're in right now that we're dealing with, it affects everybody. And so they wanted to know what was going on up there in Longview firsthand from some of the members that, from the leadership up there.
So what was the response of the local 10 members?
They welcomed us with open arms down here in San Francisco. You could feel it down here that they feel the same way we do up there, and they're passionate about what's happening up there. And it just felt good to know that all along the West Coast right now that we're ready. We're in this thing. Like even the internationals said, we're all in this one. So.
Now, this company wants to crush your union. I think they can destroy your union.
They're here for one thing. They've already invested right now blatantly. They're here to do one thing, and that's to bust us.
Now, you're here at this rally. Do you think that this is the problem bigger than Longview Local 21?
Oh man, the timing couldn't have been better, really. But it was easy. This thing was bound to happen because we look around in America, and this is happening because the system is not right. We see it firsthand, and it's affecting us. So it just happened to, this thing started up just right. It was bound to happen. So
now there's some discussion about international action, solidarity of longshore workers around the world. What do you think about that?
I love to hear that. It's bound to happen. There's something going on. There's something wrong, so it needs to be fixed. So that's where we're at. It's going to happen.
What can people do to support your struggle?
We need, this issue that we're dealing with, like I said, it affects everybody. It affects every dock worker around the world. And not only that, but it affects everybody in the middle class. So, we need solidarity. We all need to stand together, just pretty much what is going on right now, what's happening. We need to get that all combined and organized and orchestrated well enough so that, we can put this to work and make, stop these big multinational corporations from, pretty much being able to do whatever they want.
So you're not going to be working at a Walmart-type grain terminal?
Exactly. No, we're not going to let that happen. Not on our watch.
Thank you. What's your name again?
Jake Whiteside.
Thank you. And you're?
I'm the Vice President of ILWU Local.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm Byron Jacobs, Secretary of the Local 21.
And what's happened to you with the police up there in Longview?
They've taken brutal action. They've only added to the situation. They come in and they use brute force. And, there's ways to treat people and ways to approach people, and they haven't taken those steps. And all they have done is insinuate violence.
And how have they treated you and other members?
They follow us at night. They follow us home at night. They've shined spotlights on our members' windows till 3 o'clock in the morning. They're following our wives home. They're following our children. They're following everybody that has anything to do with us.
And I thought the police is supposed to be neutral.
That's what we are all told and taught when we were little, but it just doesn't work out that way, and it's not working out that way in Longview right now. They're under Mark Nelson's leadership role, and he's the sheriff of Powers County. It's a bad deal all the way around.
Okay, and you're going to continue this fight?
Of course we are. Till the end.
my grandmother's home. Enough is enough. They've been taking too many of our homes. It's time that bankers pay for what they're doing, and we are the 99%.
So the Wells Fargo is actually taking your family's homes.
Yes, Wells Fargo has been in process of trying to take my grandmother's home, and it's not right. My family has been in their homes for years, and they shouldn't be doing this to me. They shouldn't be doing this to the countless other families all around the country. Chase Bank are involved in trying to take away my grandmother's home. Enough is enough. These banks need to be held accountable.
What's your name?
My name is Max Bell Alper.
Ask the question.
To be against the banks are running everything. They're running Obama, they're running Bush, they're running politics. And at some point, it doesn't matter if you vote for Republican or Democrat. The whole world is ran about 5 banks. This here bank is one of them. Another one is Goldman Sachs. We need to arrest them. Arrest these guys, okay? They are setting up a global system to enslave everybody, okay? This is really happening.
So this is not just about you, you're talking about all the people.
If you're in dollars, I'm talking about you. And the dollar is a world reserve currency.
And how are they doing this?
They are doing this by these bailouts and this money printing to fund something that you can never repay. And it's at our expense.
My name is Chantalee, and I'm here to represent the 99% of Americans that do not make as much as the little 1% that make a lot of money. Like, yeah.
You go to City College of San Francisco?
I go to City College of San Francisco. I found out about this rally. It was posted outside, and I had to come because I feel that it's wrong for this to be going on as long as it's going on all over the world, not just here. All over the world is like this. The whole world is like this. There's an upper 1%, and then the rest of us are down here struggling while they're paying us shit wages, and we have to deal with it. And then they take away our homes, our jobs, and everything we own.
How are you personally being affected?
Well, I see it every day. Every day it's going on. My grandma's house got foreclosed in 2009. You know, she had to go to an old folks home. That shit is ridiculous. And you know, she's had that house for years. And it's just ridiculous. And you know, it's not, I'm not dealing with it anymore. I'm not putting up with this shit anymore. It's ridiculous.
You're fed up?
I'm fed up. I'm not putting up with it anymore. I've seen it happen too much. And when I saw that this rally was going on, gotta have it happen.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
So what do you think about this whole movement?
I think it's a powerful movement if all of us do it, if we just all do it and stay committed to it. Stay committed and stay consistent to it. We can all do it. We can all show these people that we're serious and that we mean it and that we're fed up and we're not dealing with the bullshit anymore.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Why don't you say who you are?
At this point, I'm just nervous about my pension. It's a city pension, and also my health care. It's all still pretty good, but I'm waiting for, you know, the proverbial to hit the fan.
You think this Proposition C is going to hurt you? And B and D?
C and D, yeah. definitely.
Why have the unions supported these anti-labor propositions?
It would be nice to know. You got to ask someone who's actually in the union. I do wear this, but I'm no longer in the union. No, well, they feel. I was also reading in the Guardian, and I think it's a kind of a bad excuse and all, but I think they say like, well, one of them's going to pass, so let's pass the one that's not quite as bad. That's the whole thing. Just take it down a step by step. It's a bad thing. It's the wrong direction to go.
I am with Local 2. I work at the Westin St. Francis, and I've been a local member for now almost 28 years. I'm here to support the labor rights. I'm here to support jobs. I have relatives who are teachers who are being laid off. I have brothers and sisters in Wisconsin, that is where I am from, who work for the city and the state, who are pensions, and their future is just really, really up in the air right now, and it's been very difficult in my family. So I am here to support nationwide jobs. I'm here to stop the banks, and I'm here to hope to support this country to start getting some very serious bank reforms going on. That's why I'm here, and that's where we'll stay until it gets done.
You think that these protests are going to stop the banks from doing what they're doing?
No, I don't. I think it's going to take a whole lot more people out here to stop the banks from what they're doing, but I do think it's the only way to stop them. I think, our elections, I don't know where Obama's coming from right now. I don't know what's going on, and I feel like the only way to really get attention is to get people in the streets.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any co-workers here?
Yes, Local 2. I got a lot of business agents here from Local 2. We got Izzy, we got Mike, we got a bunch of people here from Local 2.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. What we really need in this country is a national strike and an international strike. We need to shut down all commerce. We need to stop business as usual.
It is a corporation that's the worst hotel, a corporation in the hotel industry. It has the most injuries of workers at the workplace.
It means all of us. We're all part of the 99%, except a couple guys up here.
And what happened here this morning?
I missed most of it, to tell you the truth, but I think it's an important first step. Who are you with?
KPFA Radio.
Talk to him. He's better at that.
That's okay. What kind of work do you do?
I'm a documentary filmmaker.
Okay.
And so is my husband.
Are you documenting these things?
We've been talking about it. I mean, it's a fascinating phenomenon, isn't it? And it's about time. I think a lot of people are really hopeful about it.
I just think.
What's your name?
My name is Robert Campos. I think that everybody out here feels that they want our country to be more about the well-being of citizens rather than the bottom line of corporations. I think we've lost sight of that, and I think that's what these gatherings are about.
Do you think this is a system crisis?
I think that that's what you're seeing out here. I think this is the sound of a system that's broken. And you're hearing many different voices here, but I think what's good is that they're coming together and they're saying the system is not working. There are too many children in the United States going to bed hungry. There are too many Americans getting pushed out of their homes that they've worked for. That's not what we're about, and I think that needs to change.
You think it will change by these protests?
I don't know what any one thing is going to accomplish, but I can tell you this isn't, you may see this and think this is small, but this is happening in every major American city. It's happening on every continent except Antarctica. That's not small. That's a world awareness that something has gone wrong here. So yes, change will come. It's hard to say today by what mechanism, but change will come. This system is not tenable. When 1% of a country controls a vast majority of its wealth, that won't stay.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. You're welcome.
Show your badge at the door.
Complaint! On December 31st, 2008, the defendant, Wells Fargo, owed the plaintiff $5.3 trillion. As evidenced by the loss of aggregate income during the fourth quarter of 2008 alone and payable to the order of the plaintiff, together with interest at the rate of 10% el camino me alumbrará. Como relámpago de fuego fuiste, en mi sentir encontraste, en mi sentir encontraste. Déjate encendido el fuego y entre llamas me dejaste. Estrella, estrella, llévame un mundo con más verdades, con menos odio, con más piedades. Estrella, que me guiará, a un mundo nuevo. Yo me iría con ella y la venerará. La estrella que me guiará. Estrella, estrella, estrellita que me guiará. Estrellita, estrellita. Muchas gracias. Llevamos dentro una luz que nunca se va a apagar y una pena que nos hace llorar. Más fuerte nuestra esperanza de ese sueño realizar. Lo hacemos por la gente, todos que no están, que tanto hemos amado, pa' ustedes va a cantar. Y brillo, mujer revolucionaria, convencida hasta la victoria, siempre decidida, no le temo a la muerte, digo gracias a la vida. Por este día de lucha hemos sido bendecidas, nadie nos va a parar. Muchas gracias.
Could you introduce yourself?
I'm Ellen Choi and I'm representing Hobak.
And what is COBA?
Hobak is the Hello Organized Bay Area Koreans. We're a group of young, progressive Koreans in diaspora who live in the Bay Area.
And today there's going to be a vote for this free trade agreement chorus with Korea. What does that mean for you?
We see free trade agreements that have happened across the world with the U.S. and the track record is that they're destructive. They destroy land, they destroy livelihoods, they destroy people's ability to have safe work, safe homes, safe land. So that's the same thing that's going to happen in Korea. So Korea, Panama, and Colombia, all three free trade agreements that are being passed through Congress now. So we're afraid that what this means is that it's risking the lives of families back in Korea, and it's also risking homes and jobs here in the U.S.
How has Korea been affected by free trade policies and U.S. economic policies, IMF?
Well, I think Korea's been affected by U.S.-led imperialism and neoliberal projects that have happened in Korea for decades, even since the so-called division that was forced on during the war by U.S. and other imperialist powers. And so since then, they've been occupied. There's tons of military bases in Korea. The government's a puppet government that's led by U.S. policies. And so because of that, they're putting people's lives in Korea at risk they're putting people's lives at risk while searching for profits led by banks, corporations, and the U.S. government.
And isn't there a struggle on an island, Jeju?
Jeju Island.
Jeju. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, Jeju Island is at risk for being a U.S. military base being built there. There's a long history. It's an ecologically beautiful place. So what's at risk is not just ecological value of the island, but also people who actually live there, who have lived there for years and centuries, who have fought for the survival of their island and for the resources on the island for a very long time. And so for the U.S. to come in and work with the South Korean government to build a military base on there is actually a slap in the face to the people of Korea and the people of Jeju Island.
Now, what do you think about the events today here in San Francisco and around the country?
The Occupy movements are really exciting. It's good to see people coming together and struggle around the different issues. So whether it's fighting imperialism in Korea or fighting foreclosures here in the U.S., we're seeing that all of our struggles have common ground, and that's big banks and the government.
Thank you. Okay, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Joshua Castro, and I'm the Regional Secretary of Buying USA in Northern California.
And why are you here today?
I'm here because right now this is a wake-up call to all of the financial institutions and to the reformist or reactionary politicians that we're not allowing them to go ahead with their imperialist policies anymore. We're tired of it here in the United States. And as you can see, like, there's a lot of folks here, not just like your typical like student activist or your stereotypical, leftist out here. There's a lot of regular people that have even taken the day off from work, who are out of work, who are here to basically tell the financial institutions, the politicians, like, we're really tired of this and things need to change, like, right now at this moment. So the U.S. banks in the Philippines, that's been going on for a very, very long time, as you can tell. So shall I give you the history from the 1890s, or shall I be a little bit more recent? No, I'm joking, but basically, the Philippines is a neo-colony of the United States, and a lot of the foreign corporations are either own parts of the Philippines financial institutions or they own land or companies. And so any kind of rupture in the U.S. economic system intensely affects whatever goes on in the Philippines. I mean, the economy in the Philippines has always been in crisis, like since the 1890s and the United States taking over, but things worsen that much more because of U.S. imperialism's effects on the Philippines.
And why don't you talk about privatization and how the economy's been affected in the Philippines as a result of U.S. economic policies?
Right, so since the United States is basically reeling from this crisis, they're going to have to press the third world in order to make up for that loss of finance capital and or profit. So, that means more repression against unions in order to maximize profits. It means that further privatization of Philippine industries. It means further degradation of the environment. So, for example, mining companies, like, they need to make back the profits that they're losing because of the financial crisis. So they're intensifying their operations, and they're causing pollution of the water, the destruction of forests, the flooding of farmland, and the evacuation of indigenous peoples. And that's just one of the many effects that are going on in the Philippines because of U.S. imperialism's financial crisis here.
So what do you think of the rally here today? You think it's going to stop these banks from doing what they're doing?
I think it's a good start. I mean, as you can see right now, I mean, this is pretty sizable for this early in the morning on a weekday, but this got to get bigger. I mean, you've seen, like, Wall Street's looking huge. Boston, there's like mass arrests going on. If you look at a map on Google, I know I've seen this like dotted map of like all the places where there's occupations going on. But here in the Bay Area, we got to step up our game. This is just a start. I mean, this entire, once California Street is flooded and we've taken over the entire, Wall Street of the West when flooding the streets, then I think that would be a good start.
Hi.
Hi. What's your name?
Jillian.
Yeah, and what's going on here, Jillian?
We're here because we're the 99% of the forgotten people that makes up the vast majority of our country, and I believe that our money and our future is being robbed from us.
And this is your child?
This is my child, Maya.
What's his name or her name?
Her name is Maya.
Maya, and... So are you doing this for Maya?
I'm doing this for Maya. I'm a mom and I'm also a teacher. I teach 3rd grade in the Mission District, and I've been disgusted by the budget drying up, basically, and I feel like we lower and lower our demands, and all we're asking for is a decent literacy program, and we were told a couple years ago by the district, well, you're going to have to come up with $34,000 to make ends meet at the same time that we're bailing out banks, amounts that I can't even conceive of, and I'm just so fed up as a mom and as a teacher and as a neighbor and a friend. I see a lot of my mom friends who have new babies. They have to go back to work for health care, but we know that the best thing for our babies is to be with them at least for the first year. And so I don't, we're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I want to see our policies move towards family-friendly, community-friendly policies, and I don't see that happening right now, so that's why I'm here.
Well, San Francisco is a very wealthy city.
Yeah.
There are 16 billionaires.
Yeah.
There's so much money, but it seems like education, children, childcare, I mean, what's going on?
I don't know, that's why I'm here. Yeah, San Francisco is a really good example of the problem that we're facing, and I think San Francisco is a good example because as my friends have children, they leave the city because they can't afford to be be here anymore. They move to the East Bay, they move to the Peninsula, they move, if they're from a different place, they move back to where their parents live. And in order for San Francisco to thrive, it needs to be a family-friendly city, and it's not right now.
Who's the city for?
I guess it's for the rich people. I mean, I see that written on the sidewalks, city, sanctuary city for the rich, right? So maybe there's something to that.
What's the union doing about it? Are you a member of the union, UESF?
I'm a member of UESF, yeah. I haven't really, I'm not sure what we're doing. I know we support this movement. I don't know if it's been officially stated. The movement is new, but
what do you think the union should be doing about it?
I think the union should support the movement, and I think that this movement is going to gain traction, and I think that you're going to see more and more teachers come out when they can. I think you're going to see more of everybody out here, because we really are the 99%. Here we are.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm here as a U.S. citizen that is unhappy about our so-called representative democracy that doesn't represent anybody. In 2008, there was a big upset in the Congress as to who was elected. That Congress was elected solely to end war. That was 3 years ago, and war is still going on. We're now in Bush's third term with Obama as president, and any right-wing people crying about Obama, we don't believe you. You still have both of your wars, you still have Guantanamo, you still have drastic disadvantage between rich and poor people, a big economic divide in our country. You still have a war on drugs going on that costs our country billions of dollars. Millions are spent each year just to promote reefer madness in our country, to promote misinformation about marijuana. And right now the federal government is trying to take over the state of California, even though we've had our own laws on the books for 16 years. They will not stop interfering in our program that is a compassionate program that helps people. They only want to harm people and keep harm on the rise and keep that harm going from coast to coast. But the people, I believe, are getting fed up. This is only an embryonic movement. It's in its infancy, only a few weeks old, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens.
So you don't think the Democrats getting elected are going to solve the problem?
Democrats have never solved the problems. Democrats enable the problems. Without Nancy Pelosi and Dianne Feinstein voting yes on invading foreign countries, we might not be able to invade foreign countries. They're not the only ones. They're just the local people who are supposed to represent me. But it's a pretty safe bet that voting for war doesn't represent the Bay Area.
Okay, thank you. What's your name?
My name's Daniel Blood, and I've lived in San Francisco for 20 years. I'm originally from northern Indiana.
Thank you.
Where are you guys from?
And you sang today. What were you singing about?
I was singing. I brought Andalusian music, talking about looking for a star, looking for the inspiration and the strength to continue to find a better world, to lead us into a better world.
What country are you from?
I'm born and raised in San Francisco. My family is from Almeria, Andalusia.
What do you think about what's happening here today?
I think that resistance has continued on this land for 519 years since colonialism, and this movement of the 99% represents a growing number of people that feel an affinity with those that are disempowered by the system of international capitalism. And
so you think capitalism is a problem?
Yes, I think any system that is based on the dehumanization of people and the destruction of land and natural resources, our Mother Earth, is unsustainable, and it's a problem. It's going to change regardless of whether we like it or not. Change is coming. The system is unsustainable, and now together we are working to find alternatives to put into place.
Your music is tremendous. You think it's going to help change, make the change?
I think we all have the responsibility as people to create culture to express our emotions honestly and and speak to our people, and that's what I'm trying to do in my music.
Thank you. What's your name again?
I'm Fabi. I'm with Flor de Autodeterminación Social Civic Collective. Thank you.
Thank you.
Where are you from?
KPFA.
My name is Melanie Cervantes. I'm here as a political artist. I did a lot of the graphics that people are marching with today. I'm here because I'm in solidarity and I'm part of the 99%, the global 99 that are being impacted by capitalism and imperialism. It's an economic system that is set up to exploit us. You know, it's not failing. It's doing exactly what it's designed to do. So I'm really excited to see the Occupy strategies that are rolling out all over the country. I'm really happy to see that, you know, grassroots organizations that have had campaigns around the banks, that have targeted banks that are investing in private prisons, that are making money off of deporting migrants and then putting the blame on them for the economic crisis when really it's the, you know,
So in other words, NAFTA, which is pushed by the banks, and then...
Yes, NAFTA, the IMF, NATO, all of those systems are there to maintain that exploitation because there's that very small few who benefit off of the exploitation of the world. So as an artist, I wanted to design posters that told stories from different communities. So I did one of a day labor, a portrait, and it said in Spanish, we're the 99%. They blame me for the economic crisis, but what about Wall Street banks? And I did another one that had a group of African-American, actually folks from a grassroots organization that I worked with, and a woman in the forefront, an older woman, and it says, they targeted my community. How did the banks get bailed out when all we got was sold out? And in the background, you see a foreclosure sign in a house. And then the last one, it's right behind you if you want to look, is the 99% demand peace and justice for global justice and the occupation of Iraq and Afghanistan. That sign could have actually had a really long list of the places where the United States is occupying lands, and again for the interest of, you know, private benefit. And so I'm just going to keep going, you know, as these manifestations continue to keep the momentum going, and they're connecting with things like Occupy together, Occupy, name the city, Occupy the world, and really, like, my hope is that there starts to be real connections throughout the world because, you know, one of the things that's really great about today is the World Social Forum called for a day of action on Indigenous Peoples Day, and so this is the local action for that call. So I think, you know, there are vehicles that will take a stand against the NATOs, against the IMFs, the World Banks, and the people are organizing. Those social forums are one of the ways that we're able to connect, and I'm really hopeful about that, and hope to have a small role as an artist, putting the images out into the street and putting the arts into the street.
So you encourage other artists to come out and start using their art?
Yeah. I think, you know, especially in moments like this, if you know, I think a lot of artists want to be able to make their mark on the world. This is a really good way to do it. You know, this is a critical time in our history, and you know, you want to do it. This is a really good way to use that art to move something.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good. I saw your thing on introduction.
Maria Hall.
And
I'm a radio broadcaster in California, in North California, and also we have a show called Sin Censura, No Censorship that airs also California, in Latin America, and Venezuela, and we are very happy to see the movement growing because as a radio broadcaster for years, I think we have been waiting for when the people is going to wake up for all the genocide that the United States 1% is doing, not just inside the United States but around the world.
And do you think the Democrats are going to be able to solve these problems?
No, I don't think so. And And as a matter of fact, I think they are being very opportunistic right now because they are insinuating to the people that they are with these movements when in reality they are not. Just yesterday, there is a studio that it's saying that Obama has been getting way more money than 20 years, all the presidents before him. So that tells us who he is, and he is very happy with Wall Street. So
what's the solution?
I think, and I firmly believe that the solution is a general strike, because if the people get together and all the workers go firmly on a general strike, then we, the workers, will teach them that the 90% is way too much and we have way too much power to resist, and we cannot suffer one more day of exploitation, people losing their homes, people dying because they don't have health insurance, students cannot continue university education because they don't have the money. It's way too much already.
Do you think these protests in the United States are going to encourage people around the world? Do you think the protests in the United States are going to encourage people around the world?
I think so. I just came, I travel a lot to other countries. I just came like a month ago from Greece, and actually in Greece, the workers, I had the opportunity to go to several protests, to interview many people. Their question around the world is, when is the people of the United States gonna wake up? What is gonna take for them to wake up? And I always tell them, it takes time, they're doing it. And one thing is to be outside of the United States, and we have to understand we are inside this imperialism, and this imperialism is cruel in here, and the control of the media is awful. So the people always get different messages, but I think now it's different because the people is getting the message directly from the 99%.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
My name is Charles Smith, and I'm with the United Public Workers for Action. And the reason I'm out here with this banner is because we, the members of this organization, realize that without a general strike, nothing's going to change. This is not a moral issue that we're talking about here. This is an economic issue. It's because of capitalism that people are suffering, and that's got to change. And the only thing that's going to change or make that change is the bottom line. And when the workers go out on strike, a general strike, it affects the bottom line, and at that point we have a chance to change things in this country. Not until then.
So what are the obstacles to get a general strike?
The obstacles have always been the labor aristocracy, starting out with the AFL-CIO and the international presidents. They don't want a general strike, and the reason they don't want a general strike is because they have a strong relationship with the Democratic Party. And if they were to pull for a general strike, it would expose the Democratic Party for being the opposite side of the coin of the Republican Party. And they don't want that to happen. So that's why we're out here. We're depending upon the rank and file to make the change. It's not going to come from the labor councils. It's not going to come from the international presidents. And it's not going to come from the AFL-CIO. Just like this is a grassroots action right here, we need a labor grassroots action.
Okay, and where did you work?
I worked at East Bay Mud Wastewater Treatment Plant operator. I've been an Ask Me member I'm retired now, but for the past 26 years I was an active member of Ask Me, Local 444.
Now public workers are under attack. What's happening with public workers?
The reason the public workers are under attack is because we've got strong unions, and we are the people that provide the support for the society at large, such as teachers, wastewater treatment plant operators, nurses, bus drivers, you name it. We do it for the public. And they don't want, the so-called 1% do not want to finance anything for the public any longer. It's all a matter of profit for them. And so we're getting hit the hardest because they're getting rid of our jobs, because our jobs concern the public sector. The people that need things like medical and transportation, that sort of stuff.
And what can people do about it in unions?
I'm sorry?
What can people do about it in unions?
Well, it's got whatever changes are going to take place are going to have to take place from the rank and file. They're the ones that are losing their jobs. They're the ones that are having their wages compromised on a daily basis. They started to fight back in Wisconsin. Everybody had their hopes up that that would continue, but there, once again, the Democratic Party got involved, and the people were told, get off the streets, get your clipboards, go out and sign up to have a recall election. And we know what happened there. It resulted in 2 people winning, 1 person losing. They didn't get any power behind it, but they dismantled a grassroots movement that could have changed America.
Think that's going to happen again?
I'm sorry?
You think it'll happen again here in this movement?
There's no question that it's going to happen again. Things are only going to get worse. We are not suffering defeats. We are suffering setbacks. This is not going to change. Things are going to get worse, and people will fight back. But we have to fight back in an organized manner, and we have to fall back on the unions because they're already organized. They're in the position to do the real battle.
Tell me what you want!